Welcome to Salisbury University on the Air, a program highlighting the activities and the people of the campus. I'm your host, Susan Purnell. We are so excited to be back in the PAC 14 studios following some episodes recorded virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Recently, a generous gift from Glenda Chatham and Robert G. Clarke was pledged to SU to endow the Honors College. Here to discuss what the Glenda Chatham and Robert G. Clarke Honors College has to offer prospective and current students is its dean, Dr. Andrew Martino. Hi, Andrew. Welcome. So good to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. Now, I know nothing about the honors program. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Sure. So the honors program started in 1980, and Dr. Tony Wall from the English department was our first director. He was given a directive from President Bellavance. President Bellavance at the time was trying to up the game of Salisbury State and really to focus on academics. And he put a lot of money into academics. He put a lot of money into scholarships. And under his leadership, Dr. Wall really took the honors program to a different level. It started with 20 students, and they met in the back of a gymnasium.
Oh, gosh.
So it's really has an interesting
Perfect
story.
Studying.
Yeah, and it was mostly a general education program. Students would be taking history, philosophy, English courses. They'd have honor sections of those. The courses are by nature smaller, discussion-based, very Socratic. And then Dr. Wall gradually grew the program. And then they moved to where the art house is now, I think on College Avenue. And then in 1994, I believe, we moved to where we currently are, the Bellavance Honor Center.
Yeah, it's a
In
beautiful
2016, we became an honors college under Dr. Jim Buss.
building. Okay. Now, these students, do they all take the same curriculum or are they come from all different disciplines?
We draw from every discipline on campus, so that's one of the things that attracts me about honors education is it's completely interdisciplinary. So we literally have every student from every campus, from every discipline on campus.
And what does it take to get in?
So we're looking for a couple of things. SAT scores and ACT scores, we're not concentrating on much as we have in the past. They tend to be very snapshot photos of a student at a particular day. So we are looking a little bit at grade point average in high school, but we're really looking for the holistic student. What do students do? Are they involved in clubs? Do they have a part-time job? Is a student a National Honor Society student? Is the student working in volunteer in his or her church or in some kind of capacity? So we're really looking for students that are self-motivated and above all that are curious.
Oh, I like that word. Yeah. So the students have to come in as a freshman, or can they join afterwards, or can they come in as a transfer student to the Honors College?
All of the above. So most of our students, like most honors programs in colleges across the country, come in as an incoming student in their freshman year, and that's where we get the bulk of our students. But we do take internal transfers as well as external transfers, and we're really trying to concentrate on more external transfers. So we have articulation agreements either formed or in the process of being formed with various community colleges, not only on the Eastern Shore, but in Maryland and the surrounding Delmarva Peninsula.
Oh, so they may be coming in their junior year
That's
even
correct.
and still can be a part of the
That's
Honors
correct,
College.
yes.
So is it a much heavier academic load than the normal student?
It isn't, and that's really the myth about honors. Honors isn't about more work, it's about thinking differently about the work. So students, what constitutes an honors class is it's smaller. So our classes are capped at 18 and they're very discussion based. So the emphasis is on the student to take an active role in his or her learning. It isn't about the professor standing up there lecturing and pontificating and then you just regurgitate what you've learned on a test. It's really about this interaction between the professor and the students. So it's not. That's what I mean by thinking differently, and we put a lot of energy into discussion, class discussion, as well as experiential learning and certain projects that the Honors College does in their classes as well.
That's so interesting. I remember having a teacher in college who said to me, "I'm not teaching you subject matter. I'm teaching you how to think."
That's exactly right.
And that's sort of what you're saying.
Exactly
then.
right,
It's
yes.
just that it's teaching them how to solve problems and think through circumstances.
It really is. Now, the students are very serious about their own discipline, and we have 3 different programs. So our Bellevance program is our traditional program, and it's mostly housed in the liberal arts and the humanities, and this is where honors really emerges writ large. But then we have an honors business program for the business students. It's kind of a track, and it allows those students not to get too far away from their particular major. We didn't want students to sacrifice honors for their major and vice versa.
Right.
So we came up with a way to have these particular tracks. And our latest one is the Henson Science program, honors program in math and science. And this is our 2nd year in that. And what we do is we have classes that are science classes with honors sections of those classes.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I know that as an honor student, you probably have a potential to get scholarships. Can you tell me about some of those?
Sure, we offer a number of scholarships for our students. Most of the scholarships are for incoming students, but not all of them. So we offer 2 particular scholarships, the Bellevance Scholarship and the Director's Scholarship, and both of those are $1,000 scholarships, renewable each year that the student is here. And those are for incoming students. But we also have a new scholarship, which has actually been named for Tony Wall, and that it will be, we've just had an endowment for that. So that will be off the ground in about a year or 2. And we'll start giving students a $400 scholarship.
Oh, that's great.
And then we also lead them to other areas of scholarships as well. So this really makes the difference between students, whether they can come here or not. The scholarship makes a big difference. The Honors College also awards scholarships for students who are doing research. So they would apply for that internally, and then we help subsidize their research activities.
So does everyone get involved in research?
Yes.
That's in the Honors College?
Yeah, research is one of our main criteria for students who are in there. That research will take on a different form depending on the discipline and depending on the student. Honors gives students a lot more leeway as to how they do research and to what kinds of research they're doing, as opposed to the disciplines, which becomes a little bit more specific.
So one of the interesting things I was reading about was the capstone projects that each of your students is involved in. Can you tell me a little bit about that and maybe give me an example?
Sure. So we offer 2 capstone projects, two ways to fulfill that. The first is a creative project, which is a much narrower version of that. A student will work with a faculty member, and it's not necessarily creative, it's just a smaller research project. And a lot of our business students will choose this particular route. They'll do a business plan, or they'll do research into a company. And I usually counsel students who are going right into the job market to think about the creative project. It's much more of a practical based project.
You mean make it something that you can use when you're
Exactly.
applying in the outside
That's exactly
world.
right. And then our others is the Honors Senior Thesis. And those students work with a faculty mentor of their choice on a research project of their choice. And they have 2 outside readers as well. So it's much more in depth. And for students who are going on to graduate school, this, I've seen this happen time and again, can make the difference of students getting into graduate school of their choice as opposed to their second or third choice.
Can you give me an example of one
Sure.
of these
We've
projects?
just had a couple of really interesting ones. We had a student in the School of Education do something completely outside of her comfort zone. She curated something for the NAB Center. So she curated a museum show for the NAB Center, and that was wonderfully successful. We have a student who's working on a thesis now that looks at Union soldiers during the Civil War on the Eastern Shore as well as African American soldiers. And then we have students that are working in the hard sciences as well, particularly with Dr. Jessica Clarke's lab. It seems like most of our honor students want to work in her lab. There's a wait list to work with her.
Why is that?
She works with zebrafish, and she's doing some really, really interesting things. So a lot of our students are doing, they're combining the hard sciences with medical laboratory. They're working on diabetes and things like that, and using zebrafish as a way to do that.
Wow. You've recently announced that you have a new gift to the honors program from Glenda Chatham and Robert G. Clarke. Can you tell us what that means to the Honors College?
So the Clarkes are a wonderful couple, and they have endowed the Honors College for $1.5 million. And that means that they essentially, we are now the Clarke Honors College. And what that really means is somebody believes in you enough to not only lend a considerable amount of money, but to lend their name to. And that means that somebody believes in your mission. So we've had many meetings with the Clarkes, and we've come to an agreement of to where we want to go in the future. So this is really a rejuvenation for the Honors College, and it really takes us to the next step. And you can see the progression beginning in 1980 with that small honors program that met in the back of a gymnasium to now the naming of an honors college, which incidentally happened just a few weeks ago, and it is also the 40th anniversary of the founding of honors on this particular campus.
Oh, that's so great.
So it really is, it is coming into its own. We have
Good
nearly
story.
500 students, and more and more of our students are also getting national
You
fellowships.
have 500 in this
Almost
program?
500 students in the program.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
a lot. If a prospective student is watching us now and says, gee, I might want to look into that and see what it's all about, how do they go about doing that?
The best way is to look at our website. So if you go to the SU website, it's /honors, it will take you to our website. And that gives all of the information, not only about what we do and what makes honors different from some of the other programs, but also how to apply. And it's as easy as a click. And they can also contact me directly, and I'm happy to speak with any student who's interested in the Honors College.
Great. I think we're going to see a little clip about the Clarkes.
I believe we are.
Which will be very interesting, and I really appreciate your time here today.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Andrew. The Clarke Honors College is clearly an opportunity for students to enhance their education with an added focus on their academics. In a moment, we'll hear from Jack Lennox, a student currently enrolled in the Honors College. But first, let's hear a little bit more about the Clarkes, their time at SU, and why they decided to make such a generous gift.
When you name an honors college, it means that someone is investing in you. The donor is investing in you. And it really is about forming a partnership. The Clarkes are the perfect partnership in my mind. Number one, they both are alumni of Salisbury University, but their story is a great story. It's where they met. It's where their story starts.
We met in the registration line in Holloway Hall. They had tables according to your last name. I was Chatham, obviously, and he was Clarke. And then we saw each other in a few classes and around campus.
We saw each other a lot, and especially in the student union because we were both commuter students. And so then we started dating, and after I went in the Air Force, we corresponded weekly and daily, and then decided to get married. We're both first-generation college students. We're the first person in our family ever to go to college. I only went to SU for 2 years, and then when I got out of the Air Force after 7 years, I started work at Northampton Community College. I did a variety of positions there. I ended up as Dean of Business Engineering and Technology, and then in 1984, I was selected President of Vermont Technical College.
We value education so much, and of course SU stands for education, and really education has been a part of our lives, not only at SU, but throughout my husband's professional career as well. We've been on college campuses for forever almost, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just a fit.
We're donating $1.5 million to endow the Clarke Honors College. And of course, there'll be 3 sub-honors colleges underneath the umbrella: the business, the science and technology, and the arts and sciences. But we're firm believers in education, and the $1.5 million is an endowment because we wanted to have something long-lasting, something that would be there long after we're gone. And we wanted to invest in people, the students, not buildings. They're the future of our country, and we want to make sure that they have all the advantages that they possibly can.
The Clarke gift really makes a tremendous difference. When you name a college, it really means something. It brings it to that next level, and hopefully use that name to move forward and to evolve as an honors college. And one of the things that we're hoping to do is really have Glenda and Bob become more involved with our students. I know that that is something that they are very passionate about, and our students are really up for that kind of challenge. It really is a game changer for us. Both of them are educators, they're passionate people, and they're generally good people that want to see the world evolve and want to see us talk about citizenship and what it means to be a global citizen, as well as giving back to one's community.
In addition to the $1.5 million to endow the Honors College, we're giving an annual gift to the Honors College that is spent at the discretion of the dean so that he can enhance the student experiences within the Honors College, and that's important.
I think that giving back to education is something that it makes so much sense, because education is something that is always continuing, always growing, and I think that when you have the means to fund something like that, you're funding the next generation of leaders, of teachers, entrepreneurs, anything you can really think of, and I think that that is a super valuable place to be putting those funds.
So I think it's really important that donors or alumni are able to give back to the school, because without that generosity and kindness, students like myself wouldn't be able to explore the sort of impact that we can have. When we have the tools that are provided by donations and by giving back to the school, we're able to fully develop and see ourselves through to our success.
SU is an integral part of this community, and by supporting the SU, supporting President White, Dean Martino, and others' efforts, and it's important that we do the things now that set the foundation for the future. And that's why we've done endowments, because in that way the money is there for forever, and it'll be there to support the institution, the students, and the community.
What a great story, and what a wonderful way to remain connected to their alma mater. Perhaps the best part is that the Clarkes wanted to find a way to benefit the people of SU, and in this case, the students within the Honors College will be the main beneficiaries, including my next guest, Jack Lennox. Welcome, Jack.
Thank you.
Love your name. Like I said, my dad's name is Jack, my grandson's name's Jack. I'll never forget your name. So tell me, how did you choose SU? What's your major? And a little bit about getting into the Honors College.
Sure. So I chose SU because it was a regional and affordable university that provided me the opportunity to learn in a small classroom setting, which was something that I already knew that I succeeded in. So that really pushed me toward it. I'm a biology major, and I first became involved with the Honors College my freshman year. I really enjoyed my Honors 111 class, and I liked my professor and the students that I was meeting, and I wanted to meet more people, so I got involved through different volunteer programs in the Honors College, as well as the Honors Ambassador program.
I don't know what that is. What's the Honors Ambassador?
The Honors Ambassador program is an initiative that was started by Dean Martino, and it is a way for honors students to be represented to their faculty in the honors administration. So we meet with Dean Martino and we work with him to address different issues. We represent the Honors College at different events, and we also are sort of serve as a liaison between the student body and professors.
And how has your experience in the Honors College been for you? I mean, what do you think the major benefit from it has been?
I really think that it's been an enlightening experience for me. Being an honors student has allowed me to challenge myself in ways that I never normally would have, and it's also shown me that I'm capable of so much more than I thought that I was with the right tools at my disposal.
Gosh, I mean, as a mom, that's what you want every child to feel. Is that's such a great thing that's come out of this. You probably have a much heavier academic load, although Dean Martino said not necessarily than the rest of the kids, but is it worth it to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's absolutely worth it. I don't think that the Honors College necessarily makes students take on a harder or more challenging academic load, but high-achieving students are drawn to the program, and high-achieving students tend to, put that on themselves. And so in learning to balance this academic workload, I've learned invaluable lessons about time management, my focus, and as well as balancing my professional and my personal lives, which I think is going to be very important for me in my working life after college.
You're absolutely right. I think that if I learned anything in college, it was how to manage my time, to compartmentalize. I mean, I play hard, but I work hard, and I'm sure you have fun as well as doing the work that you're doing in the Honors College.
Yeah.
Right?
I try. I mean, I try to.
I bet you do. Now, I know the average size class is about 20 students in the honors program. Tell me what that means to you in terms of the relationships that you build with your mentor.
I mean, the relationships is really the biggest thing. These small class sizes, they're a bit more of an intimate setting, and so that lets you develop relationships with your professors and your peers that you otherwise might not be able to. The value of your professor knowing you as a person and knowing your story, that's something that's really hard to quantify. And when I think back on how this small classroom size has really impacted me beyond just limiting distractions, it has been the relationships I've developed. There's a sentiment in the Honors College that's sort of reinforced by the community, and that's collaboration with your peers over competition with your peers.
As opposed to competition, right?
Correct.
Right. Oh, that's also a great thing to learn. Now you're graduating next year or this year?
Yeah, in May.
In May, this May. How is your experience going to impact the rest of your life, your job seeking, etc.?
I think that being an honor student is going to confer me a certain advantage, I think, when entering the workforce or applying for graduate schools. For me personally, I'm applying for a Fulbright scholarship, as well as a couple of different graduate programs around the world. And so the critical thinking and the communication skills that have been developed through the Honors College, I think, are going to take me pretty far. Whether you're a humanities, science, business, or anything in between, being an honor student helps you stand out in the crowd.
I think you are going to have no problem.
Thank you.
I wish you well with your Fulbright scholarship. I know we've had other Fulbright scholars from SU.
We have.
So
we're actually one of the nation's top producers of Fulbright scholars.
I think I had heard that, and that's wonderful. Good luck. I think you'll be the next one.
Thank you very much.
I really hope so. Thanks so much for being here, Jack.
Thank you for having me.
In just a moment, we will speak with SU Director of Development, Amy Luppens, about how gifts like the Clarkes benefit the campus community. But first, we may not be able to gather for events on campus, but activities are still taking place in the virtual environment. Let's take a look at some of the events happening this month. We are now joined by Amy Luppens, Director of Development at SU. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you. It's great to be back here at PAC 14.
It's great to have you, to see a familiar face. And tell me a little bit about your job now at SU and all the opportunities for giving here.
I'm currently the Director of Development at Salisbury University, so in my role, I handle all different types of gifts. The easiest way to give is to just give an outright gift of cash or a check, or you can go online and make a gift at salisbury.edu. It's right on the website. But then there are a little more complicated gifts, and those are what we call planned gifts. And so those are generally a little more thought out. You communicate with the gift officer, which is what I am, and we have several working in the different schools at the university. But those planned gifts can be anywhere from donating something in your will, whether it is outright cash, or people can give their house to the university, people can give artwork. You can also give a gift of stocks. You can start a charitable gift annuity. There's all
so
different
many
types.
ways to give.
Right,
Yeah,
definitely.
What if you feel you just can't give enough to make a difference?
We find, Giving Day is a great example of people who are able to give a little, and it adds up to make a big impact. And I think last year, during Giving Day, they raised over $200,000.
That's
and those were
incredible.
students that were giving, whether it was $5 or $1, and then people outside in the community and alumni. So I would say there is no gift that's too small. And of course, we love the higher dollar gifts. We're never going to turn those away. But there's really, there's a place for every type of gift.
Right, and the power of the community. Everyone doing a little something for the college. We heard the story about the Clarke gift earlier, and that's an endowment of a college. How is a gift like this executed? How does it get started?
Well, it's interesting because the Clarks started out as annual givers. They were individuals who donated each year smaller gifts. And then they decided that they wanted to plan for their future. And so they reached out and contacted me, and they came to the university one day. They came to the alumni house, and we sat down. And it's really just a conversation at the beginning. Many times, individuals who want to make a gift don't know exactly where to do it or how to do it. So we talked about the different areas that they might want to support, and they just fell in love with the Honors College and everything that they're doing there. And so the rest was pretty much smooth sailing from there once they actually picked what they wanted to support.
Are there any tax benefits to a planned gift like that?
Yes, there can be some really great tax benefits. Everybody is in a different type of situation. There are so many different types of types of planned gifts that if somebody does want to know what the tax benefits are, I would say the best thing to do is either reach out to us at the university or contact their attorney, their
Their accountant.
their accountant.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I understand that this endowment that the Clarks made is part of their larger giving plan. What other ways are they supporting SU?
They have established a scholarship in honor of Glenda's parents, and that's for first-generation Bennett graduates. And then they have also pledged their support for the Center for Entrepreneurship downtown. So that's going to be a pretty significant gift. But they are, they're unique in the fact that their incredibly generous giving is impacting so many different areas of the university.
Right.
But they're not the only donors that do that. We have donors who have scholarships in different areas. You can have a nursing scholarship over here, but maybe there's also a teacher in your family and you want to support both areas. So we have a lot of donors who are giving in multiple schools and areas.
Who are some of these donors?
The Guerreris, the Seidel's. I mean,
That's right, the
basically,
Seidel's.
pretty much every name that you see on a building are families or donors that have impacted on a wide scale across the university.
It's just amazing to me how many local people who've
Right.
made it big have
And
turned out to be great donors to our university.
and now there's the Rommel Center.
And the oh, of course,
downtown.
Dave, who went to elementary
Yep,
school
and
with
that-
me too.
yeah,
yeah,
that is
that's
also-
another great family that's done so much for the university. If someone is now watching us and would like to make a donation, where do they go first? To the website? Call you?
I think now we are updating our website to have a more robust information about planned giving on the website, but really the easiest thing to do is just to pick up the phone.
Right.
And we are all working remotely right now, but we are checking our voicemail every day. So either give us a call or send an email, and we can start the conversation.
Excellent. Well, you do so much, and I think it's wonderful that we have such a giving, loving community that supports this university as they should. Thanks, Amy.
Thank
for
you.
being here. It's always wonderful to hear about the amazing stories at SU, and the Clarke Honors College is a tremendous added benefit for students to be able to take their academic efforts to new heights. I'd like to thank my guests, Dr. Andrew Martino, Dean of the Glenda, Chatham, and Robert G. Clarke Honors College, Jack Lennox, a senior in the Clarke Honors Program, and Amy Luppens, Director of Development at SU. I'm Susan Purnell, and this has been Salisbury University on the Air. Thank you for watching.